Alright, Thrill Seekers, so we got our special look on Captain Marvel, and I guess you can call it the third trailer. So, we have done a breakdown of the second, now let's move on to the third. And do watch till the end, because I'm gonna give a theory that suggests that Nick Fury did something more than just contacting Captain Marvel at the end of Avengers Infinity War. Stick around. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You're viewing our trailer breakdowns playlist, and today we're going to break down the Captain Marvel third trailer. If you guys are interested in Marvel, please consider subscribing because we make short videos on Marvel theories, predictions, and we answer your questions regarding Avengers Endgame or any other Marvel related stuff. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave in the comment section below. Alright, let's get into the video now. Alright guys, this is just a small point I wanted to make right now. So I'm going to eschew breaking down the part which we already got in the second trailer. So I'm going to focus more on the new bits and pieces we have in this trailer. So in case you guys, haven't got the breakdowns of the other parts, feel free to check out the card right here, because in that card, it'll take you to the video where I've spoken about the second trailer, and you guys can refer to that as well. Alright, so let's talk about the parts we hadn't seen previously.
Grunge is a good look for you.
Did you have a rough day, Agent Fury?
Alright, here's the first scene. We see Carol Danvers go to a bar in a bike. Now, we think that this motorbike is given to her by Nick Fury. And if you observe this bar, there's literally no one else. So there are two things in mind. Either this bar is owned by Nick Fury or it belongs to S.H.I.E.L.D. Now we know that Nick Fury has joined the S.H.I.E.L.D. because now he's called as Agent Fury. So there's nothing much of a detail in this scene, but here's what I have.
I'm gonna need clarification on this.
So in this next scene, we see Nick Fury drive the car real fast. He literally drifts. So what I reckon is that he's being chased, that there's someone on his six and he has to escape from them. You can see the expression on his face and the way he looks at the front mirror as if there's someone behind him. So what I think is that somehow he knows that there's a Skrull on his six and he has to escape. Now, I'm not going to confirm this part because I'm not sure who's chasing him. It may not even be related to Captain Marvel, but he's being chased is what I'm trying to say.
This space invasion.
Skrulls are infiltrating your planet.
Alright guys, so this next scene in the trailer is amazing. It caught my attention very much. So we see the Skrulls near the ocean. Now I have two things in mind. Either they crashed into the ocean or they deliberately landed under the sea so that they're not that conspicuous. Next, they see a woman with a surfboard going up to the sea. And then you see a Skrull changing into that woman, shape-shifting into her. Now, many of us thought that Skrulls actually need to touch the victims, but no, they don't have to. If you read the comics, you'll know that they'll actually change by their will. And you can see that there's a lot of scales coming up on the face of the Skrull. Some may even exfoliate, but we're not sure if that's the case. But the only thing is they're shape-shifting. And what caught my attention was that if you look at the left shoulder, near the left shoulder of this shape-shifting Skrull, you can see a purple glowy thing. Now, I'm not sure if this is how the MCU would make a Skrull shapeshift, but I have a theory in mind, and my theory goes like this. Way before, the Skrulls actually had access to the Power Stone. This Power Stone gave them the powers to shapeshift. Now, in the comics, this is not the case, guys. So, we know that the directors often drift away from the comics in many cases, so I think this is one of those cases. So, I'm not sure how they got the powers, because the powers of the Power Stone don't actually include granting the user the ability to shapeshift. So, what I think is that this has something else involved in it along with the Power Stone. So, if you guys have your own theories, leave in the comment section below, but let me know what this purple glowy thing is all about. Next, we see Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers proving that she's not a Skrull by shooting a huge photon blast from her hand. Now, we know that the powers of Captain Marvel include this, and this is pretty self-explanatory, so we'll move on to the next scene.
Kree. Strong.
Up next, we see the Star Force. Now, this is like the third time we've seen them, but I forgot to talk about these people in the previous video in this playlist, so I'm going to talk about them now. And I'm going to tell you the names of the members, and you guys already know some of them, I believe. Alright, so the members of the Star Force are Captain Atlas, Dr. Minerva, Ronan the Accuser, whom we have already seen in Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, and we're going to see him again. And we have Supreme Intelligence, Ultimus, and Korad the Pursuer, whom we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy as well.
You have to let go of the past.
Alright, so in the next part, we see Captain Marvel training Captain Marvel. So, one is Marvel, and the other one is the main character or the protagonist of Captain Marvel, and that is Carol Danvers herself. And she says that she has some stuff from her memory that's coming back to her, and he asks her to control it. So I think that they deliberately erase her memory and do not want her to regain her past, because she might actually flee from the Kree. They want her to stay with the Kree, is what I think, and is what most of us would actually think naturally. And how exactly was her memory removed? From the Psych Magnetron. And if you don't know what this device is, it's the device we saw in Trailer 1 and Trailer 2, wherein we saw Captain Marvel laying on this with some thingies attached to her head, and we think that this is responsible for the memory loss, and that they don't want her to remember the past.
You can find others.
Up next, we see Phil Coulson after his death in Avengers 1. But since Captain Marvel is in the 80s, we get to see him again. And notice how he gapes at something ahead of him. If you guys watch a lot of movies, you'll know that the characters actually stare at something, and if they have their goggles, they take it off and they look at it in awe. And this is really common in many movies. If there's a tornado or a hurricane or a big monster or a spaceship, then they remove their goggles and look at it. And I think something similar or something mysterious is happening here. So I'll leave you guys to decide what's going on here, but something surprising to him is definitely happening in this scene.
She's just
So, next we have the Star Force moving underwater. Well, what is so special about this? If you recall, a few minutes back in this very video, I spoke about how the Skrulls could have landed underwater or crashed near it. So I guess that the Star Force are looking for the Kree in the oceans to fight them, and this scene may depict how they go underwater in order to hunt them down.
Identity on clothing help with the covert part of your job.
said the space soldier who was wearing a rubber suit.
Alright, so now I'm going to go to the last part of the trailer, and then I'm going to tell you the theory which I promised in the beginning. Alright, so in this scene we see Carol and Nick Fury in a conversation talking about the SHIELD logo and the cap and all of that, and Nick Fury says that she's a space soldier in a flying rubber suit. Well, he says rubber suit, and I think that the SHIELD actually makes a suit for her. Now, this is like a very, very unsure theory, but I just thought of giving it away because it makes a little bit of sense, because Fury might have tried to emulate the style of the Kree. So we saw that the Kree had the black and the green, or the black and the bluish colored suit, and he tried to emulate it, but with the red and the blue. So maybe Fury and the SHIELD have designed the suit for her. Alright, let's jump into the theory now. In Avengers Infinity War, in the post-credit scene, we saw that Nick Fury contacted Captain Marvel with this device. Now, I think that Captain Marvel and Nick Fury will be somehow separated in the end of Captain Marvel because of some confusion. And what confusion? Probably because of the Skrulls shape-shifting into someone else, and they may actually betray each other. Like, for example, the Skrull may actually would have shapeshifted like Captain Marvel and might have gone to Nick Fury, and Nick Fury might have lost his eye that way, or some betrayal might have happened, and they will be separated. Remember, in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Nick Fury also mentions that he lost his eye to someone whom he trusted a lot, and it was way back then that he lost his eye, and the person whom he trusted the most could have been someone from SHIELD or from Captain Marvel herself. So we think that this is Captain Marvel, and probably that's why she's not sane for so many years. Now, regarding what Fury actually did with that device. So, if they're actually separated, I think that Captain Marvel would have provided this device to Nick Fury to contact her at emergencies. And hell yeah, Avengers Infinity War, we saw a lot of emergencies and we do need help. So I think that Fury not just contacted Captain Marvel, but the entire Star Force themselves. Now, I told you what the Star Force are, whom they consist of, and all of that. So, we know that Thanos is a super strong guy. We need something more than just Captain Marvel to fight him, and he may have contacted the entire Star Force to fight Thanos. So that is the theory I promised you in the beginning of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and this trailer breakdown. Click on the NH Fiery logo to subscribe, and click on either of the logos, either of the videos to continue watching. I'll see you next time.